Valve says you can't put your games in your will. A customer support representative from Valve has confirmed that you cannot bequeath your Steam account as property in your will, because Steam accounts and games are non-transferable in the event of death. This means that the Valve team would be unable to provide another person access to your account or to merge its contents with another account, even if that was laid out in a valid will. Account holders can obviously still transfer control of their account simply by giving another person their login information, but who owns this collection of perpetual game licenses would be legally ambiguous. I think another way to help in this scenario would be to set up one of the Steam family things.
Yeah, but that wouldn't stay valid forever.
Because then you'd still...
Because if you didn't log into an account for a certain amount of time, I suspect that eventually Valve would close the account. Like if you don't log into a Gmail account for 5 years or whatever, they close it. I don't know what the number of years is, so... your mileage may vary on that, but no, I would be very surprised if they don't eventually close accounts that are just inactive. With that said, a Gmail account is not full of things that someone paid for, right? Like they wouldn't close a Gmail account that's being actively renewed that has like an extra storage subscription or whatever else. So I don't think that's quite a perfect parallel to something like a Steam account where, yeah, it's full of paid merchandise. I don't like this in general. I think that Valve is a force for good in the gaming industry. I think in general, Valve is a force for good for consumer rights, at least relative to their competition. But this is something that I see as a step backward in terms of consumer rights when it comes to games. Nothing prevents me from bequeathing a retro game collection of SNES cartridges, for example, to my children or my friends or colleagues or whoever the case may be. Dan, you can have my Super Mario RPG, okay?
Yay. I'm kidding. No, that's sick.
A cool cart.
That's sick.
You know what? No,
Hell
forget.
Yeah.
No, forget it. No, forget it. No. You know what? No, you're out. You're out of the will.
Bequeath me, Linus.
All right. You can have my Super Mario RPG if I got first. But yeah, so nothing prevented that. And while technically I get it, these are digital licenses to use it. These are perpetual licenses to the licensee, which is a person. I don't know. It's I just think it sucks, but we're seeing this kind of thing all over the place. So Luke, I don't know if I talked to you about this, but when I spent the 4 to 5 years that I spent shopping for somewhere to build a badminton center, that's something that I've been passionate about for a very long time, and something that I spent years trying to find a location for. One of the options that came up was a 99-year lease that was actually in kind of the recreation center of one of the municipalities within the Lower Mainland, within the Vancouver area. And I basically was like, okay, so how does this work? Because this is just bare land. So do you guys build a building on it? And then like what? I just sign a lease until my death, and then after I die, someone else is just gonna lease it or something. And okay, I knew more about how they worked when I was having this conversation, but what I'm laying out right now would be, I think, a pretty reasonable assumption for how something like that works. No, get this. You want to know how it works? You pay them market rate, no discount. You pay them market rate for the land as though you were buying it. Instead of getting the deed, instead of holding that property as a private property owner, you hold the right to lease it for 99 years or or your own lifetime, or some combination of which comes first, or of the two. And if you're a corporation, for example, you're a Best Buy or an Amazon or whatever, then it would be tied to probably the time, and it would be tied to the corporate entity rather than a person. But in my case, it would probably be a brand new corporation that would be spun up just for this badminton enterprise. So, and I would probably be, along with Yvonne, the only shareholder and director. So it would basically be tied to our lives. So you pay full price, and I go, okay, but like, do you guys contribute to the development of a building? Like, this is just bare dirt. Like, do you build the building and then I lease it? They're like, nah, you build the building. And I was like, okay. So I buy the land, and then I build the building. I pay the full cost for that. And then when the lease expires, you guys reimburse the asset that you've taken over in some way, like the building cost or something like that, to my beneficiary, or no, that's ours now. And I'm kind of sitting here going, what the fuck? I'm generally, I think that, a lot of Americans would probably see me as a filthy socialist. I am pro, public works. I am pro tax dollars being invested in public programs, swimming pools, ice rinks, libraries, parks. Man, I love that stuff. That's great. Spend that money. Let's build it. People should have access to recreation and entertainment. We shouldn't just be seen as walking wallets that pay taxes, right? Like, I want services in return for my taxes. All of that stuff. Sure. No problem. But to basically go, okay, yeah, you know what? Private ownership, bad idea. We take it back. No.
Yeah, I looked into one of those a while ago when I was shopping for my own place to live, and was actually pretty stunned at how bad of a deal it is. It's a pretty wicked deal if you're the one selling it. Because you get to sell a property, and then your inheritance down the line just get the property anyways, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know, weird.
So it's so anyway, I forget where I was going with this. Oh, right. So I am generally pro, if you pay for something, it should belong to you, and you should be able to do whatever you want with it, and that should include beyond your own lifespan. Is it kind of irrational? Yeah, I guess so. Like, I can see that perspective. Realistically, I paid for the game. I got all the benefit that I was possibly going to get from it. The latest research shows I can't take it with me. So what difference does it make? I'm not there to, see my kids enjoy my copy of Stardew Valley. Like, does it really matter? Could they just buy their own copy? Probably. But I'm torn, is what I'm trying to say. And I would like to see Valve do better. But I also would fully understand if this is an issue that they're basically going to studiously ignore and do absolutely nothing about. I mean, Valve has already done so much to make their licensing terms less of a burden on their users. The fact that you can family share games digitally over the internet compared to what everyone else was pushing for, absolute industry changer. Never mind game changer. And I don't think they're going to win that battle again, this time with bequeathing games. I also have no idea what the landscape's going to look like. 50 years from now when I drop dead, hopefully, knock on wood, right? 50 years from now when I drop dead, are my kids going to want to play Anno 1800? I suspect the gaming paradigm is going to have changed so much. Like that's basically like my grandparents bequeathing me their original Atari whatever, like the one with the actual, paddle controllers, and that plays one game, that just plays Pong. I'm sitting here going, I mean, that's
sick.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play it. And this is digital,
I don't
Luke.
think it should be...
That's not digital.
Up to Valve. I don't think it should be up to Valve to decide.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Like, it
but
should be up to Valve. It shouldn't be up to us either, really. Like maybe they do find it interesting.
I see it both ways. I definitely see it from both perspectives. Licensing is a complicated thing. And, we've seen time and time again that it's often not down to the publishing platform. It's often not even down necessarily to the game publisher or to the game developer. Like we've seen games get shut down after 10 years, for example, because they don't have the development cycles to go and source and integrate new music. And there was licensed music that they only had a finite license for. Man, I remember learning about that, where we wanted to do that Top Gun volleyball scene with the original music for Channel Super Fun, and they were basically like, "Yeah, you can buy a 6-month license for this amount of money, and then you take down the video after." I'm sitting there going, "Well, that's stupid." Nobody is listening to that song by watching this video over and over again. We're not even playing the whole song. Like, why do you care if we just have a perpetual license for it? But it's just not how it works. It's a time limited license. And man, the music licensing industry is gonna be doing some stuff. The big rights holders in that industry are acquiring libraries like never before, and they are gonna be jacking the prices for any iconic music from big artists. It's a whole thing. Sorry, that's a whole rabbit hole.